Hello everybody, welcome to the October card class. I'm so excited today to bring you this one sheet wonder from the mini catalog. It's on page 42 if you have your mini catalog handy, and you may have just skipped right over this because it looks like, oh, there's some really nice cards, and yeah, that's cool. But they actually give you a guide for cutting one sheet of 12 by 12 paper into a one sheet wonder. It's kind of an old saying that we have. So you can make a bunch of projects, in this case 6 out of one sheet of designer paper. And I just wanted to point out, I did write in my catalog the cards that belong to the different pieces here, so you could kind of see the corresponding ones. This is using the Autumn Toile Designer Series paper. And not only did they use the one sheet wonder, they used a different technique on each card as well. And Stampin' Up! Provided demonstrators with this wonderful one-page template with all the measurements and the templates for the cards too. So we've got the cutting guide for the 12 by 12 paper and the templates. And I kind of wrote on my template what the different techniques were on each card. So we're going to be doing 3 of these in class today. I'm going to do all 3 in one video instead of 3 separate videos. And there's one sheet instead of 3 separate pages in our guide for the class this month. So instead of doing just one designer series paper, I actually pulled out 2 that I wanted to play with because they're so beautiful. They both have metallic accents, and one is for fall and one is for Christmas. So for the card class, we're going to do kind of a variety of different ones from the template. We're going to do number 1, number 3, and number 5. So we're also going to do the ink blending, which is number 1. Number 3 is they have it fussy cutting because they cut this. Number 3, they cut right out of the paper this tree and put it on their card. And then we're doing number 5, which is these 2 banners, which is a fun template. And the neat thing about the banners is you have 2 pieces left over here, and you do this a lot when you're doing card fronts. You have little pieces that are 4 inches by 1.5, and they work perfectly to make 2 little banners here. So the ones we're not doing this time, let me just show you real quick. Here is one where they just took the plaid I guess it was a striped pattern, and they took their Stampin' Blends marker and made it into a plaid pattern by adding lines. This one they stamped directly on the designer series paper. Here's another one where they just die cut a shape out of the designer series paper. And then this is the one we're going to do, where we're going to take ink and a blending brush to add color. And here they actually colored with blends markers. So let me put this aside and let's get started. So in our Facebook group, in the guide, there's a template for this and this. So both of those are available there. I'll hold it up here just a little bit so you can see it if you're not in our group. But those are already posted this morning. So let's start with number 1 here. So we're going to do a card with a fall theme with the gathering papers. So this is Gathering Together. So the Gathering Together paper. And then I wanted to pull in a couple of additional stamp sets rather than just concentrate on one suite. So I grabbed my Sign Design bundle because I wanted to use the punch, and I hadn't used that yet. But you could stay totally in the suite when you're doing this template. So that's the beauty of this. You can take one set of products, and it doesn't matter which one. Use the techniques and the templates for whatever you have on hand. So, and then from the Christmas ones, I'm using traditional labels. So let me grab those out. All my pieces here, I think I have them ready to go here. So, and I'm doing them all just on basic weight, or thick basic weight cardstock for my background. And so I'm going to show you the technique on this one. And we are going to just grab our designer series paper here and add a little bit. We're using Old Olive, it's one of the oldest Stampin' Up! Colors, and I think it's my favorite that I use the most. We're going to go ahead and grab I'm just going to flip over my instruction sheet here so I don't get ink all over the place. So I'm inking up my blending brush in a circular motion, and then I'm going to tap it a little bit on my designer, or my scrap paper, just to get a feel for how much ink is on it, and then just lightly pull it in around the edges here. And you can see I'm just gently coloring around the edges and the corners of my paper. I don't think I'll do the middle section. And this will show up better if you have the piece that's more white. This one's kind of already colored, but just adds a different way to add a different color. And another thing you could do is maybe add some blue if you wanted to make like a sky background to your designer series paper. So there I've just subtly added a little bit of different color around the edges. You can see that. So, yeah. All right, so blending brushes and ink, you can do a lot with those. I'm going to leave my ink pad out because I'll be using that for the entire class. Okay, so now it's time to put this one together. We will first, let's see, grab my liquid glue here. And again, I'm using one of my liquid glues that's almost used up. I have so many of those, but I find that if I use the big end and then tap it, I still get ink out, or still get glue out there after all this time, even though it won't pour out from the other end. Okay, now I'm gonna, let's see, grab, I find it easier, even with my photopolymer stamps, to stamp first and then punch when I'm using punches. For die cuts, it doesn't seem to matter as much, but for some reason with my punches, I like to stamp first. So grab my ink pad again, and I'm just keeping it easy by stamping everything the same color, but if you want to swap out your colors, then go for it. All right, and then this Thankful stamp I just love, and that is actually from the Last Paper Pumpkin kit, so Thankful. So fits really nice on the sign, or you can use whatever you want. There's Season of Thanks and a lot of other fun options for that little sign punch. So it'd even be cute for Halloween, right? It almost looks like a little tombstone, but it's supposed to be a sign. All right, so there's my Thankful, and I've got some die cut leaves and greenery. Those actually came from the Label Me Grateful stamp set, but I thought they kind of go nicely into the #1 template that we're doing here, so I'm just sticking those up through there. So let's see, get these together. I'm actually going to put my sign on first. I got my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm just going to put a couple right in the center, and that way I can still tuck my greenery underneath, except I guess the big ones I will put on first because they need to kind of go across. I'll do, let's see, on my sample I did 2 both going up. Maybe I'll do the other one a little bit different. We'll do one going up and one going down and see how that looks. And then I'm going to put my label on, and then I will tuck my leaves underneath. I've got some crushed curry oak leaves here, so we'll just put some liquid glue on those and tuck them right under. Okay, and that one's done. Quick and easy, and it looks so elegant with that designer paper with the metallic accents. So, on to the next one. Let's see. Let's do this one, which is on our template. Flip this around here. Number 3. So attach a dry embossed panel, and then add a die cut or fussy cut image from the designer paper. So we're going to use a die cut image instead of a fussy cut because this beautiful Christmas Traditions paper, which is currently out of stock, but it should be back soon, has a beautiful sheet of all these fun sprigs of Christmassy flowers. So we are going to pop those up onto, well, let's just go ahead and put the card base together first. and then add our wreath. So this wreath embossing folder is part of that Christmas Traditions suite. And the only two parts of the suite that are back ordered right now are the dots and the paper itself. So you can still purchase the other items. Again, I'm tapping my glue there to get it out. Look at that crazy glue. I am using every last little bit of it. Do you do that? Use every last little bit? Okay, so next I'm gonna pop up my die cut spray of flowers here with some dimensionals because it's so pretty. And again, this Christmas Traditions paper has that beautiful gold accents. So we'll stick that right in the bottom corner there, and then I'm going to stamp my Mary on my label here. Now I had a little trouble cutting out these labels, but let me give you a little tip. If you have Christmas Traditions, to find my dies here so I can show you what I finally figured out. I'm going to be stamping on one of the ones I messed up, but I can fix it just by gluing it together. But what I finally ended up doing was grabbing my pick tool, and what happens when you run this through, after a while the paper just gets stuck in these crevices, and because it cuts here too, if you just try to lift it off, it'll tear. It has these fun little designs around it, and not only that one, but also one of the other ones too. I think this one. But what I finally did was I picked up the corner, and then I just ran my pick tool underneath the whole die cut right there, and then it popped right out. Just have to do it slowly and carefully, and then no more rippage of labels. So this one, let's see, find my Mary. There it is. And my Old Olive again. And we'll stamp that right there. And then I'm going to glue that right on top. And I'm only going to put the glue in the center, and then a little bit also where mine is ripped. And then we can put that right on top. Oops, I want my flowers to show through, so I'm going to cover up the bow so I can have my flowers peeking through. And then we'll add a couple of those really cool traditional sparkling sequins, they're called. So these are nice because they're nice and flat too, so they're not going to poke through your envelopes. So let's see, on my sample I used some of the blue ones because I matched the pool party ribbon, but here I've got the Old Olive ribbon, so maybe I'll pick a different color. Let's be different, and we'll do a few different colors. So I'll do one green one down there, and I'll do a gold one up here, and then a red one too. Do 3 different colors instead of the same. Okay, so there's my Mary card, and then on the inside, what did I put? Oh, Mary. I did an extra Mary, so it says Merry Merry Christmas. And the nice thing about that Christmas Tradition stamp set, it does have different fonts. So we've got a large scripted Mary, and then we've got this fun little small Mary. So we'll do the small Mary, and then grab our scripted Christmas for the inside. Merry Merry Christmas. So pretty and easy. So this whole template would be great for making multiples too, or just pick your favorite of the designs and make a whole bunch of that one. All right, next, lastly but not least, we have the one with the 2 banners. So this one kind of features the again, we've got the Christmas Traditions paper, but this time the poinsettia designs, and it's got some gorgeous backgrounds here. So again, you could do the ink blending if you wanted to pull in different colors, and I'll show you some samples later where I pulled in I think Pool Party, or well, we'll see when we get to it, but let's finish this template first. So this one, I've got one of the larger designs of poinsettias here. So it's so pretty with that gold, so pretty. I don't want to cover it up. But, so then I was kind of scrambling because I always hate to open another package of designer's paper. So for this one, I actually have a piece of the Gathering Together paper and then a piece of the poinsettia, and then I turn them over, and I'm just going to use the other side to make my banners because they don't have to be two of the same like my sample here. My sample here, I used the two red ones, which were the opposite of that particular pattern. But for this one, we'll make do with some scraps. And when I'm doing flags or banners like this, I like to snip up in the center, and you can measure it if you want to make sure you get exactly right. And then I go in from the sides to the center, and then my banners, my little flags tails are even. So we are just gonna put these down on top. I hate to cover up those pretty leaves, but right now I need the more plain pattern. And the same with that one. That one's not going to show up if I use the pretty one, so I want to use the other side there. And now I've got my two banners, and then I'm just going to do stamp Merry Christmas on my label here. So there is my large scripted Merry and my Christmas. And I could do those different colors if I wanted to. I'm just being lazy and doing everything in Old Olive just to keep things easy. And again, this is another one of those dies that has the cut edges there. And I think they did it just to be cool, and so it looked neat to have that cut pieces. And you could also run ribbon through them too, so that would be kind of fun too. But again, if you have trouble with those, just use your pick tool to go underneath and grab those out of the dies if they get stuck in there. It also probably depends on your machine how tight it is too. So, but it does have a lot of nice labels, and that goes so nicely right there. Look it. So two different versions of the exact same template, and again that was template number 5 on our craft along cutting guide here. So let's see, moving along. No, we're not moving along. That was the last one. So I'm going to close up my ink pad, but I do have some other samples to show you because I of course didn't want to just do 3 when I was preparing to show you this template. I wanted to try all 6 of the patterns, so I did do the other ones in both. I did some of the other ones. So here is the one I did with the Gathering Together suite, and that's kind of the same as this one here that we just did. So I just use a different embossing folder. So we've got the Gathering Together folder with the leaves there, and instead of the Christmassy flowers, I put different colors of fall leaves underneath. I think that's one of my favorites too. And then I really like these Cajun Craze and Gold Gems. Those are really pretty too. So that was that one. All right, here's another one I did with, this is the one I did with the blending technique. So that one kind of compares to this one that we just did. So I just used one of the other banners from those Christmas traditions, and then one of the dies that was in that suite. And you can see again, I pulled in some of that Old Olive paper or blending with the brush. So did that one, and then here's one we didn't do, but one of the other templates. I think that's number 2 here. And so this one, the technique they used in the catalog was using your blend markers on the DSP. And so what I did here was I took my Pool Party blend marker and just colored the white flowers. So it has a totally different look. I'm not really sure if I have that exact paper here, but you can see now I've brought Pool Party in by coloring right on the designer paper. Okay, and let's see, where's my stack of projects here? Oh, here's another one I did. This one I think was number 2 here again. So I used Actually, I used that little piece of label that I cut off of that one card. Let's see if I can find it. This one. I cut that little label, and then I layered it on top of that sign punch, and then put some twine behind it. So just another easy variation. And then last but not least, I did the 2 banners again with the gathering together, and I used that label Me Grateful big die there, and then stamp some leaves around in different colors. So just different ways that you can use the same patterns, the same templates, and use whatever you have on hand to make some fun, great projects. And hey, if you want to be able to get templates like this when Stampin' Up! Comes out with them, we actually get a newsletter every week that gives us fun projects, and we get a whole class at least once a month in our newsletter, and lots of other perks for being a demonstrator, not only just having the class, the kit itself at $35 this month, which is such a great deal. So $35 to sign up during October, and lots of perks to take advantage of. So hope you guys can come to class tomorrow in person, but if not, enjoy the videos, and the template is posted in our group. So hope you had fun today, and see some of you tomorrow. Happy crafting!